The views and opinions expressed on the following program may not necessarily reflect the views of the staff, management, or board of Hope Media Group and KSBJ. It's what's happening around us, in our town, suburb, city, in our community. It's Community Beat with Kim Kasi McKee on 89.3 KSBJ.
Hello and welcome to Community Beat, where we're keeping you tuned in to the topics that are impacting our local communities and helping them thrive. I'm your host, Kim Kasi McKee, and today we're raising awareness for an organization that seeks to elevate families through the crucial services they provide to parents and their children. Our guest today is Teresa Medina, Executive Director for Nabor House Community. Welcome, Teresa, and thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, Teresa, for starters, tell us about yourself and how you became involved with Nabor House Community. I know you've told me you're actually from California, so that has to be a story all in itself.
Yes, ma'am. That's too long of a story to go into, but I really feel I came to Nabor House Community 5 years ago, and I really feel like the Lord brought me to Nabor House Community. Being with Nabor House Community has strengthened my relationship with the Lord and has really made me realize the importance of sharing the gospel and being free to share the gospel with people in the community.
That's awesome. So tell us, what is Nabor House Community? What's your mission?
Nabor House Community, we provide early childhood education for the children of single moms and low-income families. So we do this so that the moms can go to work or they can go to school. Our moms and families are living at the poverty level. A lot of them are food insecure. They lack transportation. And if you think about a single mom, daycare, the cost of daycare has just skyrocketed to rival, mortgage, rent. There's so much inflation. These moms really struggle, and they come to us and they're feeling hopeless. And our main goal is really to share the Lord with them. We want them to find hope through Jesus Christ. We want to show them that the Lord has a plan for their lives. And we want to walk alongside them. We want to find out what their needs are in addition to the daycare. They sign up for a full program, so it's not just daycare. The moms are invested. They do pay a nominal cost. Nabor House Community is $200 per month, and that's for full-time care.
Wow.
That's Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We provide breakfast, lunch, snack, and we even have a partner through Exceptional Pediatrics that provides therapy. So for our moms, they can go to work, they can go to school and work to accomplish those goals while knowing their child is in a Christian, safe, nurturing place where they're going to learn about Jesus. And we also do events for the moms. They're required to attend 8 parenting events per year. And they look a lot different. We try to figure out what is it that our moms are really struggling with. Sometimes it can be around financial literacy or finding counseling resources. A lot of our young moms have been through trauma.
Sure.
And so we just want to help them to become whole in Christ. We share the gospel with them on our first meeting. We go into their homes when they're applying to bring their child there. My directors go into the homes. They share the gospel. We've had so many women be saved right in that initial meeting.
Wow.
And I can't tell you what that feels like. It's so exciting to see someone go from hopelessness to realizing and understanding that Christ has a plan for them and that he's going to be there walking with them. And we're going to come alongside as well and try and disciple them.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So, Teresa, tell me what some of those other programs you provide look like. So, of course, you do the daycare. What are some other ways some other services you provide for these families?
So, really, we do a Bible study every Thursday with the ladies in Spanish and English. One of our centers is at Long Point and Wirt, and it's predominantly a Hispanic population. 90% of my teachers are bilingual. Our children come from bilingual families. And so we do a Bible study in English and Spanish. And that really provides, I think, for the moms, a feeling that they're not alone. They can connect with other women who are seeking God and who are in the same they're having the same struggles in life, and they can unload that, and we can pray through that, and they're finding solace and just peace through those relationships with other women. So we do a Bible study. We have them come to events. My directors at times, we're kind of there to help with everything, although we do try to partner with a lot of different organizations to help moms get their medical care. A lot of them don't have medical insurance. We work with the Source for Women, which is right up the street from us at Long Point, that exceptional pediatrics for speech therapy for their children. We do food distribution. We were doing it with the Houston Food Bank. We partner with Kids Cafe to get the kids their lunch. We have a lot of ministry partners to make sure that we're meeting all of the needs, as many of the needs as we can for these women.
That's amazing. We've often heard the saying, it takes a village.
Absolutely. Yes, a village and a half. So basically, the other thing that I did want to mention is that the ladies who come to us, they're required to be working or going to school.
Okay.
And so that's really important to us. Like, we want to help these ladies do better, be able to provide for their families. We're looking for life transformation through Christ, and we want them to be bought in, if that makes sense. Like, we want them to be invested in the program, in their children, in their jobs, in their employment, in school. We want them to be invested. Yes.
I think it's amazing, Teresa, that you have the opportunity to share the gospel, which apparently there are no restrictions on your being able to share the gospel with these families.
Yes, ma'am. So we really look to partner with the church community.
Okay.
We're in the perfect place in Houston. They're just wonderful believers here that we're so excited to partner with them. I've had previous experiences working for county government and different places where faith couldn't even be mentioned. And I'll be honest, I mean, even as I go out and as I'm responsible for doing the fundraising for these programs, there are companies, businesses that if you say that you're Christian, they're really not interested.
Right.
And so it's sad. It's very sad, but luckily I know this community is full of believers, and I know that there are businesses that are Christian and seek to share the gospel and seek to provide.
So, Teresa, what's the age range for the children you're able to serve?
The children that come to Neighbor House Community are 2 months old to 4 years. So we have the little guys. So if you think about it, that's the toughest time for mom, is when they're little babies. Infant care is usually more expensive than regular care at daycare. And so this is where moms really feel stuck. They can go to preschool for free. But it's this time right now that's the most difficult.
Sure. So you mentioned too, there being a nominal fee, which sounds extremely low. So how are you able to provide daycare 5 days a week at such a low cost for these families?
Yes, ma'am. You know, we are completely funded, we look for our funding from churches and from foundations. A big partner of ours is the Stoller Foundation.
Okay.
And the Stoller Foundation, the tenets of that foundation are evangelism, volunteerism, and sustainability. They fund over 50 ministries in the area.
Amazing.
Our founder, Jerry Stoller, really had a heart for single moms, and he more had a heart for sharing the gospel and fulfilling the Great Commission. And so we're proud partners with the Stoller Foundation. We seek out like-minded foundations, churches. That's going to be our target group, people that understand that we're seeking life transformation through Christ, and that we align, that our values and our mission aligns with theirs.
Awesome. So how can others learn about your program? Just say they may be listening and say, wow, I'd love to connect with a daycare like that, whether they want to bring their children or they are one of those partners that says, I want to come along and provide some material need or financial help or anything like that.
One of the greatest things about Neighbor House Community, we love volunteers. We love to have volunteers. There's information on our website right now about volunteer opportunities. We have our fall festival coming up. That's kind of a big volunteer day. That's a completely free festival that is underwritten by local businesses and churches. And that helps us to get the word out about Neighbor House Community. It provides a fun, free festival. Sometimes these fall festivals are kind of expensive. We want all the children in our neighborhood to know that they can come to the Neighbor House Fall Festival completely free. We're going to give them lunch. We're going to play games. We're going to have so much fun, but we're also going to pray over them. We have a prayer booth there at the Fall Festival.
Nice.
We'll be having KSBJ on for
Awesome.
everyone.
Thank
We love
you.
KSBJ. So it's a fun, free day. There's volunteer opportunities there. Some people come in once or twice a week, and we have a PAL program, and that's prayer, affirmation, and love. Some of our kiddos come from backgrounds that are a little tumultuous, and it's hard for them to adjust to being in daycare. They've never been in daycare before. They've not had great experiences sometimes. And so sometimes we just need people to come work one-on-one with them. We'll have them come out of the classroom and have a volunteer work with them one-on-one. It could be reading a book or trying to put a little puzzle together. So we do have the PAL program that we take volunteers for. We've got some folks that are retired and they're not so much about wanting to hang out with the kids. And so, they work in our garden. We have a garden at our Long Point Center. They do kind of maintenance stuff for us, like in the buildings. And sometimes they just come alongside the teacher. Because we are a nonprofit, but we are licensed. We're licensed by, of course, the state of Texas. We are also we're an accredited program through Texas Rising Star. And our goal is to provide the best early education experience possible. We want for our little children to have the same quality or better of an experience than children in a quote unquote traditional daycare or more expensive daycare. So our goal, we have some budget constraints, of course, but our goal would to be have more teachers in the classroom.
Okay.
As you can imagine the ratio, there's 13 3-year-olds with one teacher. So a lot of the volunteers will come in and spend a half a day in the classroom and kind of be a teacher's helper. So there's a ton of opportunities. We love volunteers.
Awesome. If you're just tuning in, we're speaking with Teresa Medina. She is the executive director for Neighbor House Community, and we're just getting to know more about the wonderful services that they provide to moms and their children. So tell us, is there anything new on the horizon for Neighbor House Community?
So something just happened a couple months ago.
All right.
We opened our second center.
Yay, congratulations.
Thank you so much. We're so excited. We're at the campus of St. Thomas Presbyterian.
Okay.
They give us that rent-free.
Nice.
Which just helps us so much. The cost of doing a program like Neighbor House has increased incredibly, just like probably every other program with inflation and everything else going up. So we're right there, 14100 Memorial Drive. And we've got some volunteers right there in the neighborhood. We've got some board members in the neighborhood. People really feel free. I think what's beautiful is, people that contribute to Neighbor House, they can actually come into our school, come into our center and see what's happening and feel like they are really making a difference and a part of it, and I think that that's really special.
Yes, it is. Do you have a particular success story you can share about someone who's accessed your services?
I do. One of my favorite stories, I don't want to be emotional, but in my past, I've worked with children in foster care. And what I noticed over time was that a lot of the young women who come out of foster care wind up being moms fairly early. And what I learned about that is that they're seeking family. They want to create a family that they never had.
Wow.
I had a young woman, her name is Marissa, and she came to us at Neighbor House Community. She had been in foster care her whole life, and she had a baby and found herself in the situation that so many women find themselves in. She wanted to recreate that family, and the partner was gone. He left. So you have to think about how hard it is for a single mom, but then think about a single mom who doesn't have that core family
system. Yes.
They don't have extended family. So there's really no one to help. But Marissa came to us. We took her little baby in to Neighbor House Community. And Marissa ended up being hired by DePelchin Children's Services as a foster parent trainer.
Oh, my goodness.
So it gives me just chills. Just that story. She came full circle.
Mm-hmm.
She got to know the Lord. She accepted Christ in her life.
Wow.
She worked so hard, like a true inspiration. She was hired, in the Lord, I believe, just put her in that position to help other foster children, because who better knows who would make a good foster parent than someone who lived through it.
That's right.
She has since gotten married.
Wow.
And has had another child.
Oh, my goodness.
And we all cried because her little guy, Jeremiah, he just graduated from us. We had him from the time he was a baby until he graduated, and he's off in kindergarten now.
Wow.
So she's just one of so many stories. These women are truly, they're inspiring. I don't know how they do it. One of my earliest memories when I first came to Neighbor House was seeing women. There's a bus stop right in front of our center, and with the baby bags and the baby, and bringing them to Neighbor House Community, getting back on the bus, going to work for 8 hours, coming back on the bus, picking up the baby and heading off. It's dark already. Like their not willingness, but their ability to be able to do that. Like it's incredible to me. But that's what the Lord can do, right? I mean, that's what and I've seen him just work through Neighbor House in so many incredible ways. It's incredible.
So how can we be praying for the ongoing work of Neighbor House?
Yes, ma'am. I would ask for prayer for our staff who they work so hard and tirelessly. I ask for prayer for the moms who get up every day, who are trying to change their lives. They get tired, they get down, just to give that they need that strength.
Mm-hmm.
We pray for donors that can see our heart, can see our mission, and come alongside us to help further the mission of the community. Our founder, one of his goals was to have Neighbor House Community in every area of Houston.
Wow.
And, there are always people that come to me and it's like, oh, we've got a space, we've got a spot, churches are interested, but it costs quite a lot of money to run this.
Yeah.
And if you look at across the country, the daycare situation, it's a crisis right now. Like there are many centers that have closed, and that closes off opportunity. So we just pray for growth in his time. We pray for provision. We trust him. We see where that has brought us so far, like just in these years. We just pray for our strength and to see what the needs are of these families, and to continue just sharing the gospel in as many ways possible. Like that the Lord, that he just strengthens us to seek out new ways to share the gospel. These women and other vulnerable people in our community.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Teresa, for the impact that you have made these past 5 years.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for joining us. And if you would like to learn more about Neighbor House Community, go to neighborhousecommunity.org. That's neighbor, Nabor, housecommunity.org. So thanks again to our guest today, Teresa Medina, Executive Director of Neighbor House Community.
Thank you so much.
And as always, thank you to our wonderful audience for joining us. And we hope you'll join us again next week for another edition of Community Beat. I'm Kim Kasi McKee on 89.3 KSBJ. Hello and welcome to Community Beat, where we're keeping you tuned into the topics that are impacting our local communities and helping them thrive. I'm your host, Kim Kasi McKee. And as we're approaching voting season, we'll be speaking with a representative from an organization with a mission to strengthen families and inspire inclusive communities through focused development and guidance. And one of those ways is through helping these families to exercise their freedom to vote for their candidates of choice. Our guest today is Maria Jordan, founder and executive director for Texas Familia's Council. Welcome, Maria, and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Kim, for having me. I'm so appreciative of having this opportunity to share our message with everyone.
Awesome. So how did you come to found this great organization?
So the council was formed in 2011 in Montgomery County, Texas, as a response to the growth of our diverse populations in different regions. But we were seeing a need to really respond to our Latino community. So many of us professionals who come from immigrant families ourselves, we just feel a calling to serve those that are needing guidance and love and nurturing. And we put our skill set to good use. So we've been able to respond to disasters when they've come, the pandemic. We've stepped in with a lot of health resources and really just building bridges between leaders and institutions and the communities that we serve.
Wow. So you really do so much more beyond helping people to vote.
Absolutely. Yes. Although the voting
Which is
piece
very important.
Very much so. But the voting piece definitely for us is part of the spiritual calling too, of making sure each soul is recognized and has a voice and is able to shape their communities.
That's awesome. So Maria, tell us about this special mission you have in this season, this unique collaboration that's going on.
Thank you. And it is a mission. It just kind of landed in our lap because Rice University has been conducting research on what they call voting deserts in the Houston region. And so they've identified 5 of these communities around Houston, and the New Caney Porter area is one. And so it has a lower than average voting participation rate. I think it's about 38%. Compared to the rate of growth that we're seeing in New Caney and along the I-59-69 corridor, it does raise concerns because we want to make sure that people know where they're voting, how to vote, and understand the issues that face them for their daily progress. But we also understand that New Caney, like some of these other areas, are seeing huge influxes of communities, new development every single month, basically. Mm-hmm. So people are arriving not having built community yet. Mm-hmm. And so that affects voting participation.
Sure. So what are you hoping to accomplish over the next few days? I know there's a unique drive you have going on.
So one of the areas that Rice has been looking at researching is relational organizing, which basically means that people are more likely to get out and vote if a family friend or family member encourages them to do so. So through relational organizing, we're asking to sign up 30 people in the community that know at least 10 people that are registered voters in the New Caney Porter area. So this is specifically targeted to see how this might affect that community. They'll send out a few text messages between mid-October and November 7th, because there's lots of important things on that ballot for constitutional amendments and local school boards and everything. Just reminding people to vote and giving them dates, not telling them how to vote or anything. And then we will compensate them $250 for their participation in the program and provide a training. So it'll be an app and they'll just be sending out a few messages to their friends and family. So it's not like a stranger sending them something.
Okay.
So we hope that makes a little bit of an impact in people wanting to get out and vote.
That's great. So I want you to reiterate, you're looking for one person that can recruit 30 people or 30 different people.
Thank you. Yes, yes. Thank you. Because that gets a little murky. It's 30 people total that will reach out to 10 of their family and friends.
Okay.
So it'll be 300 people basically that will be receiving those messages during that period. And that gives us an opportunity to track, okay, these messages went out. Did people respond? Did they go out? Did they actually have an impact in getting people that might have just stayed home? And this is, kind of an off season for voting. So we already are expecting a low turnout, unfortunately, but maybe we'll see a little blip from these efforts.
Awesome. So someone who may be listening who says, I'm willing to be one of those 30.
Yes.
Where should they go to learn more?
So definitely, I would encourage you to, if you use Facebook, the Texas Familias Council Facebook page, I have information on that with the flyer with the link. So people could sign up immediately through there. You could also call me or text me, and then I can send you that link via text message. And my number is 832-527-7251. And you just send me a text and you make sure you get that link. And so we're trying to get the 30 people recruited over the next few days. So if anyone's interested and just has a little time and you have family or friends in the New Caney Porter area, this would be a perfect way for you to contribute to community building.
Excellent. So Maria, what might you say to a person who may be apathetic towards voting? Sometimes people have thoughts like, oh, what difference can my one vote make?
You know, it's sad. And because I work a lot with our college students here in the community, and I know that politics and that whole world gets real negative and people just get very tired of hearing the rhetoric. And unfortunately, it can discourage a lot of people from even participating in things in their community, not just voting, but other things.
Sure.
And so it really, to me, it's kind of hits to at a spiritual level at kind of eating away on the concept of hope itself.
Okay.
Because hope itself means that we are empowered, we believe, we know that every other human being is just as beautiful and important as ourselves, right?
Yes.
And so we want those voices to be heard. You know, I was in San Antonio this weekend and I was there for the Feast of St. Teresa Lisieux. And one of the things that she was so adamant in her young life in reaching her spiritual path towards her service was understanding that we are like a field of flowers and that God did create the violet to be just as beautiful as the rose. And so every flower matters. And that was her little way, you know.
Yes.
And so that's how I approach our community work, that every soul matters and every soul deserves a voice.
Love it. I love what you said too, and connecting the idea of our vote really is a sign of hope.
Absolutely, it is. I mean, I think we've gotten away from seeing it that way.
Yes.
And I think sometimes that's purposeful. Like people don't want us to see things that way. And it's like, no, it really is. And beauty can come from people participating and building their own community as opposed to others coming and building it for them, right? And that does require that parents teach their children how to participate by modeling that behavior. So it is a spiritual act in many ways.
Awesome. Well, if you're just tuning in, we've been speaking with Maria Banos Jordan, who is president and founder of Texas Familias Council. And Maria, if you will tell us what that website is or where people can find you in social media.
Thank you. So www.texasfamiliascouncil.org is our website. And on Facebook, the Texas Familias Council Facebook page also has that information on signing up. And if you would like to send me a text, that would be a quick way for you to get the link to register for this special project. And that is 832-527-7251.
Excellent. And one more time, let us know about the 30 people that you're looking for over the next few days.
So if you live, and you don't have to live in New Caney Porter, you can live in Humble, you can live in Kingwood or anywhere. But if you know 10 people that are registered voters in the New Caney Porter area specifically, then we're looking for you to help us with this project. You would just attend a quick training, download an app, and you'll send out a few messages here before November 7th to remind your friends and family to vote. So 30 people for that project.
Excellent. Well, Maria, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Kim. And I wish you many blessings in this work and being messengers for our community.
Awesome. And as always, thank you to our wonderful listening audience for tuning in. And we hope you'll join us again next week for another edition of Community Beat. I'm Kim Kasi McKee on 89.3 KSBJ.
Thanks for joining us for Community Beat with Kim Kasi McKee. Join us every Saturday morning at 5:30 on 89.3 KSBJ.